Okay, we are live. Actually, I'm lucky enough to have two guests with me. I got Minister DeWood and I got Emoji Black. I haven't I have their mics on mute. I'm going to bring them in after the intro. Um, the topic of this live stream for tonight, it's been a long time coming. It's the 10 L.I.N. commandments or the 10 L.I.N. commandments. And as BAIO members, or if you know anything about the BAIO, you know that LIN stands for Land, Infrastructure, Nationhood. Every Black talking head talks about stay on code, but no one bothers to tell you what the code actually is. So since no one else has bothered to create a code, it's only fitting that the BAIO creates it. And so we've come up with what we call the 10 LIN commandments. Now I'm going to read the 10 LIN commandments, the abridged version, like the short version, and then we're going to go back into what each one of those things, we're going to go further into detail and do a deep dive. So, commandment number 1, the Black agenda is land, infrastructure, and nationhood, LIN. Commandment number 2, the endgame is to establish an independent nation state of our own off the shores of America on the continent of our ancestors. Number 3, we do not make enemies of other Black people. Commandment number 4, connect, not convince. Commandment number 5, do not request money from African people, from Black African people, into the formation of an economic fund with transparency, accountability, and liability. Commandment number 6, what makes something Black African culture is when it works in the interests of Black African people. Commandment number 7, power is the ability to define our own reality and have others submit to our definition as if it were their own. Commandment number 8 is the nationhood mantra. And the nationhood mantra is research our own experience, absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, add what is specifically our own, i.e., Black African epistemology. Commandment number 9, know how to hit it and quit it. Don't fall in love. And commandment number 10, the last commandment is, we have no friends. We are all we've got. And on that note, I'm going to bring in Emoji Black. Peace.
Peace, everybody. What's up?
I'm going to bring in Minister Dawood.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.
What's up, man? It's really good to hear your voice, man.
Likewise, bro. Likewise.
Yeah, so we're going to get into this. This is going to be a nice, tight, concise show because I want the video to be passed around. So when everybody starts asking about stay on code or saying stay on code, we can actually have a code that people can stay on.
Word. Yep. Let's do
So
this.
let's start at number 1. And you know what I'm going to do, Umoja?
Talk to me.
I'm going to say what the commandment is, and then you and Minister can go into detail on it.
Okay.
So the number 1 commandment is, the Black agenda is land, infrastructure, and nationhood. Go for it.
Go ahead, Minister.
No, after you, good brother. After you, because you know me, I'm long-winded.
Thank God.
No, I could be. I'll try to be short, because I could be long with it too. But I'm gonna try to slow down and say what I gotta say quickly. But the idea of land infrastructure and nationhood, when I see that as the Black agenda, it's like literally like it's the alpha and omega for me. It's like I know for me personally, it's completely changed the way I think. It's completely changed the way I move. And when I say think, like in terms of like even money, saving, and just the future for my kids. And it's like I feel personally that aiming towards establishing, obtaining our own land, building our own infrastructure, and establishing a nation is like literally the 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 most powerful thing that I could be fighting for the future of not just myself and my family, but for Black people. So when we talk about the Black agenda, I don't care if somebody says like, "Oh, to educate all Black people," that's cool. To stop police brutality, yeah, that's cool. But the Black agenda, the actual agenda, being like, let's just get our own, that's like the most important thing for me personally, and that's how I see it. And when you explain it, everybody agrees, but then we'll still sit up and give all our energy to just activism, telling people to vote, et
Yo,
cetera, et
Jamoja,
cetera.
I'm having, I don't know about Minister, but I'm having a hard time hearing you. It sounds like you're competing with your background.
That I don't like that. Can, can you hear me, Minister?
Yeah, I
You
can
hear
hear
me
you
all
good.
right?
I can hear you, but you do go in and out though.
I don't like that. I just put on my other earphones, so hopefully you can hear me better. Can y'all hear me better?
It's a lot better now. Yeah, it's a lot better.
Yeah.
Before you
Okay,
was kind of going in and out.
right. I just had one headphone in like a damn fool, but
Okay,
hopefully it'll be better going forward. I ain't say nothing different though. Go ahead, Minister. Go ahead and cook.
so and I agree with everything that you said. Black agenda. So for me, what was beautiful about LIN being the Black agenda is that, let me start off by saying this. If you read the 20-page Ice Cube plan, 22-page Ice Cube Black Contract of Black America, and some of these other plans, they all mean very well, and they all have very good points in them, but they're not easily articulated by the average brother or sister. And so when you talk about land infrastructure nationhood, it's a profound concept, but it's simplified, which is beautiful. Basically, in order to have any kind of prolonged change, you have to have land, you have to have control of your infrastructure, and those two things, land times infrastructure, gives you nationhood. That's very easy for the average person to understand if you give it to them. And it's easy for you to put before a governing body or anybody if you're trying to ask for something. It's very easy because they could easily understand it. All these other 22, 32, 42, 52 point programs, they all they all may be comprehensive, but it's very hard to understand. Even the person, like, with the least amount of intelligence or political savvy, they can understand that those are in the hierarchy of needs. Remember, me and Holly, we was going to do that show, the hierarchy of needs,
Hmm.
kind of. In the hierarchy of needs, if you think about it as a nationalist, these are the top priorities. Need number one is land. You got to have land in order to do anything, because if you don't have land, quite frankly, you just talking some shit. You got to have control of your infrastructure on that land, because if you don't have control of your infrastructure on that land, then quite frankly, just having the land, what does that mean? That means you're going to grow a couple of tomatoes and some cabbages, but in reality, you're not taking over nothing by growing tomatoes and cabbages only. You know what I'm saying? So being able to control infrastructure is the key, in addition to having land. And then nationhood is something that you have when you feel ownership, and that needs to be said twice. Nationhood is something that you have when you feel ownership. When you don't feel ownership or have ownership, you don't really have true nationhood. So that's the really should be the only Black agenda. And if you put that before any kind of Congress or any kind of government body, you can easily expand it or contract it the way you feel like doing so. See what I mean
Yep.
by me being long-winded?
No, that was good. That's what we want, actually. You know, some detail into what this stuff is.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so I think we covered that, the Black agenda. Commandment number 2 is the end game is to establish an independent nation state of our own off the shores of America on the continent of our ancestors.
Brother?
Well, just the concept of endgame. is like actually one of my favorite tenets of the BAIO, because it it just it just says when the rubber meets the road, where are we going? What are we
Right.
doing? Just like the vote movement. The end game is cast a vote. That's it,
Yep.
literally.
Yep.
And then they say, hold your politicians accountable. Okay, bro, how? Right? It's just like vote. Let's say something about let's say how some of these other organizations got these master classes where you can learn all about Kemet and yada yada yada. Okay, cool. Now I know all about Egypt, and I ain't even fucking Egyptian, even my ancestors really, right? Like, but I know all about Egypt. Like, okay, then what? Like, and it is funny when we think about it, but it's really sad. Or like, we'll have the 10-point program of from the Panthers of the '60s, and only do two of the points. But then it's like, okay, and what are we doing? We're just gonna perpetually keep doing this same shit and be in the same position. Therefore, we're not fighting for anything, just to say that we're fighting and feeling good that we're fighting a good fight. Whereas the BAIO says no, the end game is actually leading to somewhere. Like when I promise y'all, man, I have fantasies about waking up in the morning and looking at my kids playing on the beach on the shores of Africa. Like that's the end game to me. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like that's where they waking up every morning eating whatever fruit is there and going to school right there on the fucking island or right there on the beach, man. And just that's the end game, not waking up. Yep, I'm about to go march again. Up, somebody
Right.
got killed again. It's time to pick it. It's like that's not an end game, yo. Like getting your ass kicked over and over and saying that you have to because that's fighting and respecting our ancestors. That's literally stupid to me. Man. So I just love the whole concept of end game. Go ahead and cook.
Man, it's very hard to follow that, bro. That was beautiful. That wasn't it, bro? That
Yes.
that that was beautiful. The only thing I'm going to say, just to kind of veggie back on what you were saying, is that the concept of the end game, brothers and sisters, you have to understand means that we are tired of going through the hamster wheel, the cyclone roller coaster, the jumbo jet of the so-called struggle, where we protest, you give us a couple of provisions, then we protest, and you give us a couple of provisions, or we do this or we do that. It's a constant battle in the same way, the same how that we've been doing for years. And we're saying we're tired of that. We have a solution to end this whole shit. And that to me is different than most other people's kind of program, because most other people's program has some way like a a revolution where you're still doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And what we're saying is we don't want to do that no more. What we're saying is that we don't want to go through the whole thing, because it's almost like that's the beauty of the nation. I mean, excuse me, the Matrix movies. What it shows you is that that's the whole design. The whole design is for you to work very hard for 20, 30 years, build a mass movement, only for it to be destroyed. And then you got to do it again, right?
Mm.
Yep,
And
yep.
it's based around a concept, a character like Neo. So at some point, Neo was Marcus Garvey. At some point, Neo was Noble Drew Ali. At some point, it was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and so on and so forth. And that person
Wow,
was the one, and that person
wow.
raised it. You know what I'm saying? That person
That's
raised
crazy.
everybody
Yeah,
up.
man.
Isn't it crazy?
That's a cold analogy, bro. Go ahead. Excuse me,
Thank you.
man.
Word up, and it's crazy though, but it's the truth, because that's what they want. And then eventually, you see the architect. The architect at some point was J. Edgar Hoover. Um, in this not modern time, we don't know who the head of the CIA was, but the architect is the CIA. They take your organization down and then destroy Zion, and you got to start over again. And what we're saying is enough. Let's fucking end this shit to the point where we have total disconnect of this whole thing, so that we can operate without going through that hamster wheel anymore.
That's a very good analogy because it's like
Man,
we're at that part in the movie where Neo had to go through a different door. So the
Hmm.
last nine he went through, he did the same exact thing over and over again until he changed what he did the last time.
Right. Right. Yep.
So yeah, I totally feel that. That was great.
man.
Um, Yamoja, do you have a TV playing in the background or something?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's what the
As a
problem is.
matter
It
of
looks
fact,
like it's competing with your voice.
Okay, I'm turning it off right now. So yeah, I'm sitting here getting my hair retwisted. Now I'm about to be rude and just take over everything. Damn, it's self.
That's what's up.
It's self. Can you turn it down? Yeah, they can't hear me. All right, there we go. My bad, y'all.
That's all
Yeah,
good.
that'll definitely help. All right, so let's get to number 3. Number 3 is we do not make enemies of other black people.
Hmm.
You know what? That one, that was something that was difficult for me at first, like even like before coming to the BAIO and not making enemies, but just hiding my disdain for people who are okay with the status quo. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because it's like, and it's like not fair to them, but I just got so frustrated, and my temperament and patience for it just grew so thin for people to just keep on wanting to. And really, it was like the hamster wheeling, like doing the same stuff and thinking that it's effective, asking, going to our enemies, asking them to help. Like you're gonna go to your enemies and ask them for freedom, not, and say you fighting for it, and now in terms of the like, oh, and now I'm frustrated. Matter of fact, just to put it to wrap it up, now it's more frustration of the people who are against nationhood but say that they're for black people and then treat us like we the ones that saying, nah, nigga, you can't come because you gay. Nah, you can't come because you got a white girl. Nah, you can't come because you from the Nation of Islam, or you Moorish American. It's like we're the ones actually saying, no, we don't care about none of that if you really with this nationhood, while everything else around us are in these little silos, thinking that they building their own nation or thinking that they doing something when they doing the same thing and staying separate. So it's actually really hard for me because while I won't make an enemy of them, I'll just cut them off. Like I have nothing to say to you, like straight up, because you want some bullshit to me. So that one is actually a challenge for me, just to be totally honest. Go ahead and cook.
Hmm. So for me, yeah, word. And again, I agree with all that you were saying because, and I'm glad that you showed, excuse me, some of your humanity in where you was with it because I was in similar spaces. Like I was just like, well, fuck this segment of people. We can't deal with them.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? But the reality of it is that if you're going to establish a new nation, it has to be built off of love. It has to. It just has to. Because we all we've known here is fighting. That's all we've known. And the majority of the time it's been fighting one another. So the BAIO, I think, is making a bold declaration that we're tired of fighting each other and that we want to, the foundational principle has to be that we all get along. And that's why
Yep.
when we had members of the BIO that was divisive and wanted to fight all the time, we had to get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? Because these are people who would jump on social media every day looking for a fight with some new black person, whether it's from America or from the continent. And we was like, what are you doing? We're trying to make friends. And here it is every time I turn around, you're trying to make enemies. When a person uses these words, y'all are not gonna like me. Well then what the fuck? Well, what is the use of what we doing here? You know what I'm saying? You don't have to like me. No, actually we do. We do have to like you, and you have to like us for us to cooperate. Period. Because we have gotten used to this concept in America of you know you're doing it, you're there for business or you're there for the job, and you don't have to like the other people, and that's what we learned. And when you live in that, and again, you're not going to like every single person, but it kind of gives you an out. It gives you an out so that you don't have to be mature enough to work over your differences with somebody and love them regardless. And to me, that's what I love about the BIO is because we're not going to tolerate religious fighting. We're not going to tolerate, like orientation fighting, none of that stuff. What we're saying is this is a big tent that we're enforcing brotherhood and sisterhood, and you got to come correct if you come with us. So I think that is and if you think about it, that principle is a principle that has been carried through the organizations from the first, second, and third generation. All the major organizations tried to stamp out the fighting, and we're carrying on that tradition, and I'm honored to be a part of that.
Definitely. And I want to add something to what you guys said. just as to put a button on it.
Indeed.
If our enemy doesn't differentiate or see distinction between us, neither will we.
Right.
And one of the points that I've made for the longest is I hear black folks with this uncompromising position when it comes to dealing with anything other than their ideology and their way of looking at things.
Mm-hmm.
And the issue that I have with that and the hypocrisy of it is that all you Negroes live together here in this country.
Right.
So if you can live with all these ideologies here in this country, don't give me this line in the sand when it comes to nationhood for your own people.
Yep. Yep.
I'm not trying to hear it. You full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we mean. It doesn't mean that every black person is going to be involved in the nationhood process. But the whole point of us starting a nation is so we can start a nation for our people, period. And our people are over here getting killed and suffering and being second and third class citizens, no matter what your ideology is.
Right.
So it's just kind of stupid to us for you to make some line in the sand or draw some distinctions when your damn enemy isn't doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to put that button on what the brothers just said.
No, and in addition to that, you would say, well, we ain't got no choice. Well, hold up. If you ain't got no choice, then you should be with us trying to make a choice, shouldn't you?
Right. Exactly. Hypocrisy abounds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so number 4, connect, not convince.
That's beautiful.
Right, right. I think this one goes kind of well with number 3 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And and um and I think the convince part is kind of like a baseline for most ideologies and trains of thought, because especially it's like the person who first finds religion, usually they want. I know it was like that with me with Christianity, right? When I first was really like into the church, it's like, oh yep, I'm gonna be a minister. I'm gonna be a preacher. You know what I mean? Like that's the aspiration immediately. Go spread the word.
Right. Right.
So that spread the word, come to Jesus, seems to come out, especially if you're really serious and excited about it. You want to share it, and to everybody else, it looks like preaching. It looks like, I know me, how I talk like I'm an arrogant, like my confidence for my little ass is literally like I'm like 6'13" when I'm 5'6". Like it's ridiculous. So people, nigga, you think you know everything? Oh man, you don't got all the answers and all this other stuff. Like I didn't dealt with that. And with the BIO, I just share the message. I just share the message. I don't get in arguments with people. I see stuff online and I want to say something so bad, and I just keep my mouth closed now. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's difficult because who don't like a nice, friendly argument every now and then? But I just be quiet. I just be quiet because everybody who sees me online know exactly what I'm about. Like there's no confusion. And even before I like had something like the BAIO, I always felt comfort, and I feel really good about knowing that you can have a situation about black people and you don't have to ask yourself, I wonder what Umoja think about this. You know exactly how I feel about this. I want us to do it. I want us first philosophy, and let's do it. So when it comes to convincing people, I do it by way of like, I'm gonna share this video. That's how I try to connect. And the people who really with it, I'll get some hits every now and then, but a lot of people just seem to be really timid, man, and scared of the concept of doing it ourselves. But I definitely don't go out of my way trying to convince people, because truthfully, it doesn't work.
Hmm.
Go ahead.
Well, bro, you on fire tonight. You on fire tonight. You brung the pain. You definitely being rooted. Maybe I should get my bald head braided. Yo, so for me, I agree, man. I agree. And the thing is that again, not to be beating or dragging up some dead waste, but that's the reason why we had to get certain people out of here, because the
Mhm.
message that we're trying to get across and help people to understand, we realize, see, the thing is this, and I'm gonna be very quick. The thing is, we have to realize that as a people, we have operated in the same set of ways for the last 50, 100 years. And this is a new concept, which is where I've always been. I've always been a new age person. They used to get on me about that in the nation. They got on me about that everywhere I've gone. I've been a new age person. But I feel, once at some point I understood that I came at the tail end of a lot of different things, and that used to get on my nerves. But I realized it's because I was meant to be a part of the new. So I saw enough of the old, and I was meant to be a part of the new. Land infrastructure nationhood, what is the end game? That's a new concept. It is. It's a new
Hmm.
concept. And because of that, these people are shocked. A lot of these people, what are you talking about? That can't possibly work. The reason why y'all
Right.
saying that is because you never seen it done before. You never seen nobody talk about it. But the thing is, what you're used to didn't work. So why not try something else? Because if you've been trying something for the last 100 years, you've seen it not work. So the best thing to do is no, we just didn't have the right leader. Oh no, 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 no. We just didn't have the right man. No, you know what? We didn't have enough sisters with us. And we've exhausted all those avenues. So the reality of it is that this is a new concept and it's going to take some time. And so therefore we connect with people and we share our ideology. Like when you connected with the beautiful sister from African Esquire and the other brother that was on the panel, that's a beautiful connection. And you know what I'm saying? You was on the other the Spirit Lifters show. I've taken my message over to Sister Fundy Fee show. We've done this. We've done this with a lot of different people. That doesn't mean they necessarily are going to join us, but nevertheless, it's a connection, and we're not trying to convert or dominate people. Land infrastructure or you're an asshole. Nah, I mean that's crazy. So to me, that's also new age. New age also is not shaming, but accepting the fact that certain people won't accept this. But will you support us? Will you work with us? Will you give us a donation? Things like that. I mean, we're not set up for donations yet, but I'm pretty sure when we do, there'll be plenty of people who have no parts of LIN will definitely donate because we're not about dominating people with the message. We're about connecting.
Gotcha. Hey, that puts the button on that. Like I said, I'll just add like a little bumper to that.
Come on with it.
Um, get to know each other and form bonds. Connect with people of like mind in your city and state. Connect with professionals in your business field and interest groups. Organize physical in-person meet and greets. Schedule online conferences, Zoom, Microsoft Team meetings, Discord chats, YouTube live streams, etc. Do all of that instead of battling against low frequency, one dimensional, deep Negroes diametrically opposed to the solution of LIN. And I try to get my BAIO members to embrace that commandment because it's going to make your life a lot less stressful. That's all.
Right.
We're not here to convince, we're not here to give people PowerPoint presentations, none of that. This is what
Right.
we're about. Are you down with it or are you not? If you're not, peace. If you are, connect with us and be around other people of like mind. It's that simple. So, on to number 5. And number 5 is do not request money from Black African people into the formation of an economic fund with transparency, accountability, and liability. This should be fun.
Sir, can you please read that again? Can you just read it again first, please?
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, definitely.
Please. That needs to be
Com-
heard.
Commandment number 5 do not request money from Black African people into the formation of an economic fund with transparency, accountability, and liability.
Man. So this one now, this I was kind of throwing like a undercurrent shot when I was saying stuff like you got to learn master classes and stuff like that because
Right.
when you and when you do that though, you always have to pay for it, right? Now,
Yep.
however, let me be very clear though. when you are working and when you are learning yourself and trying to teach the people, I do not think that it's bad to be paid for it. That's how you make ends meet. However, if you just a conscious crook, if you really just want to do this, if your end game is, oh, now we got master class number 2 and 3, instead of like you learned this master class and now we're gonna apply this to like actually liberate our people, then that's cool. But if you just, oh, you just got a master class after master class after master class, and every time the price going up and yeah, I'm not with that. Or if you know, talk about police brutality and all this other stuff, and then you say, oh yeah, by the way, we just got these new pins and these new labels that cost $5.99, and all you got to do is, you know what I mean, like you just hustling the people, and that bothers me. And that's, excuse me, and honestly, like that's one of my favorite assets of BAIO. Literally, y'all, I've never been asked for a cent. I've never been asked for a cent from anybody,
Word,
from the brothers who, like, not ever, like
word.
about anything. And I've been rocking with y'all for like a few years now, and
Yep.
I ain't never even seen it. And that literally makes me so proud. And anytime I tell somebody about it, like even in the piece I just wrote, I was like, and don't worry, y'all, you don't got to pay no money. There's no membership fee dues. There's no monthly dues. You don't have to sign up for no class. You know what I mean? Like, and that's
Yep.
special. No, that's really special though. Like, I know y'all two know, people don't understand how special that is. And what sucks though is that we automatically have a bad name just because we're a black organization. 'Cause that's the first thing people think of. Nigga, how much it costs? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
What do
Exactly.
I have to give up? But I'm gonna let you cook now, minister.
Nah, you was man. I was enjoying what you were saying, but word up, you 100% right. It's like first of all, let me just say that the designation masterclass is funny as hell because like everybody, TMZ has master classes. I don't know if y'all know that.
Wow.
TMZ, yeah. So that's definitely the buzzword now. It's like just call it that, and it's worth something. But you know what I'm saying. But no, I love this tenant also. But the part about it that's most important to me is and Holland's been talking about this for a couple of years. Transparency.
Hmm.
That is the key because as you can see right now, the big battle with Umar is he's collected money and they want transparency. And again, I've said this before and I'll say it again, and I'll keep saying it. I, honest to goodness, don't think Umar spent one red cent of that money. I don't. I don't. I just don't think he's that crazy. But at the
Right.
same time, the fact that we don't know what he's done with it is what drives people crazy. Now you
Right.
got people that will run down on you for $5. $5, somebody will kill you. And here's a dude that has collected hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm pretty sure he didn't spend it again. But the fact that he has not told people what he's done with it drives them crazy. I've had
Hmm.
people argue with me over $10. I've had people like not be my friend anymore over $20. And so therefore, until we have something that we can put together that's number one transparent, number two cannot just be taken down and frozen by the government. That's very important because if you remember, I used to read a newspaper a lot after September 11th. And right after September 11th, all those, I mean, man, like everybody has people from the continent that practice Islam in their city. You know, in Minnesota, you got Somalians. In Albany, we have just about everything, but we have a lot of Nigerians or whatever. And these people, they send money home to their country. And as soon as September 11th happened, it was just a nice little excuse for the government to freeze their assets and you can't send money no more. And so, you know what I'm saying? So that's something that you always have to be careful about when you got a black organization. Trust me, I know that when you put a name on something and it's nationally recognized, they can just freeze your assets for no reason. So that's one of the reasons why we don't, we have enough, I think we have enough trust capital to begin to start something. But first of all, we need some financial advisors. And second of all, we need financial advisors and legal people who can really go through all of that language so our shit doesn't get frozen. Because I'm going to say this and I'm going to bounce. I mean, excuse me. Then we'll get on to the next point. But it's like it's almost like the whole susu thing, where people invest in these susus and it goes around one time, everybody gets their money. They say, "Oh shit, that was great. I put in $500, I got back 1,500. Let me double up." And You get that shit when it goes around the second time, it's not coming back around.
Yep.
And that's what they keep telling me. They telling me every time that somebody starts up a susu, it goes around the first time and everybody feels good. So it's almost like gambling, where you should have stopped when you pulled that lever the last time, but you go back in. You know what I'm saying? And when you do, somebody runs off with that money. We don't want that. Not only do we not want it with we know we wouldn't want it with ourselves, but we also don't want the government to take us down just because they could. So that's something
Right.
that you brothers and sisters who are anxious, you're like jumping at the bit to start collecting money. Y'all niggas better think about this before you do it, because it's not you that I don't trust. It's the government I don't trust. I don't trust them with your money because you got your organization and you think you're just gonna be collecting money, and one day you wake up and you got $10,000 and that shit is frozen. And what you gonna do about it? You just gonna tell people sorry? You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
taking money is a lot more complex than y'all think it is, and that's why BIO we're very careful with that.
Yep. And I'll just add no GoFundMe, unaccountable, crowdsource funding, or donations as a source of primary revenue.
Hmm.
Your time is more valuable than your money. No membership fees, no dues should be required to be a part of the nationhood process. If people make money off the struggle, people will have no incentive for the struggle to end.
Hmm.
And I'll throw an olive branch because I believe that there are people like Umoja said who provide value and are actually giving the people something. But my caveat is if you want our support in terms of the money that you make, like let's say you sustain yourself through this stuff, then your primary message should be land, infrastructure, nationhood.
Right,
If your
right.
primary message is not land, infrastructure, nationhood, then what you're basically doing is making money off the struggle because you're not giving people a solution.
Bro, let me add this to you though, bro. From my experience. So I remember years ago I had a dude in my temple, he was a pastry chef. And this what happens a lot of time. Black people are so funny but so predictable. Now, me and you, Hollop, we're in our 50s, so we came up in the crack era.
Hmm.
Um, Emoji did. How old are you, big bro?
I'm
Emoji.
38, sir. I
Okay,
just
so
turned
you,
38.
yeah, so you definitely grew up in the crack era too. Okay,
Yes,
good.
sir.
So you know full well, black people is funny, man, when it comes to any amount of money, because that crack era told us that black people turn on your ass in a dime. So I had a dude, he was a pastry chef in the temple, and he was selling pastries and stuff like that. Oh, I'm gonna build Muhammad's temple by selling pastries. And what ended up happening is I took to the rostrum and I said, hey, everybody support brother, he's making the pastries and it's gonna help the temple. As soon as he saw that money coming in, all of a sudden, well, what part of this do I get? I'm like, hold up. Like, hold up! I thought you said you was making pastries for the temple. Yeah, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, my work ain't free. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So it's like people come and they have well intentions, but money triggers people, bro. It really does. It really triggers people, and this is why we encourage BIO members to become successful in your own personal life outside of the BIO. And the
Hmm.
reason being is that we don't want you to come in here dependent on the BAIO for your success. That's a dream that was sold to many people during the Black Power era. And when it wasn't delivered, many people caught feelings. We don't want to repeat that process. So I know damn well how y'all think. You're going to put up a GoFundMe, you'll take some of it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to put up a
Hmm.
donation site, you'll take some of it. And we don't want to have to hurt nobody. So to alleviate us finding you in your city and doing something to you, the best thing to do is just take that whole option out. You cannot raise money like that. That way, we never have no hard feelings like that because money causes hard
Money and
feelings.
money in organizations is like sex between good friends. It changes everything.
Yo, that was classic. It does though.
No matter how much we think it won't, especially and the longer you've been friends, you know, just actually friends, once you cross that line, it changes fucking everything. Or like getting
Mm-hmm.
married and moving in or something. Like once money
Mm-hmm.
gets involved, somebody in quote unquote leadership or something, or now we got to be a 501c and get these grants and some like it is terrible. It is horrible for real. Never
Mm-hmm.
fails.
Yep.
And that's the button on that one.
Hell yeah. Well,
So
yo,
on to
as a sidebar, hold up, I think we need to, judging from the material we're getting, we need to do a whole show about that.
oh yeah. Actually, we can do a show on each of these commandments. That's
How about that?
you got 10 shows right here.
But I do think like making it clear because some people don't know because we don't advertise like, hey, yeah, hey, we the BAIO and you don't got to pay nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because we just already feel that love. But some people really don't know and they could be expecting like, oh shit, here we go again. Some more Black Power stuff, some more Hotep nigga stuff, some more women can't be involved stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like actually opening up and like detailing like, even though we do share the about us and everything else, but people don't want to read. People literally don't even want to click something to just read or even share. So we might have to get real elementary on the people.
Yeah, definitely. We can definitely go into more details like in the future. Like we can go into a deep dive on each commandment.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6, commandment number 6. Know the definition of Black African culture. What makes
And
something Black African culture is when it works in the interests of Black African people.
I think like you could have just said that and like we move on to number 7. Like I mean,
Word up.
it's such a
What more is there to
seriously though,
say?
it's such a simple concept. Like, is what I'm doing working in the interest of my people? And what I know is because we're in America, we've been trained so hard to think is what I'm doing working out in the interest of my damn self. And that's such a hard barrier. I think you already have to naturally have like love for your people in your heart. Like even when you come into quote unquote consciousness, it's still a struggle to actually say, well, I'm not just coming in this to be a master teacher and to be able to argue and debate online
Right.
or about how much I know about Kemet and actually be like, okay, I see what's going on with my people and struggling with my people. I want to help them get out of it. So if you don't have that mindset, like it's really hard. You know, it's just so hard. But that's all I really have to say about it. You have to have a real heart but it's stuff to even think about because number 6 actually assumes that you care about working for the interests of Black African people. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So for me, it has to start there. Like you have to actually give a fuck about the people because some of these dudes who like running organizations doing it, when you look at the moves they make and what they saying and what they doing, you don't care about the people, man. Because if you do, you'll be on something. You'll be on some Lin.
Right.
Period. That's all I
Right.
got.
Right. No, I'm not gonna answer that. That was perfect.
Cool. Yeah, that's pretty much self-explanatory right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's move on to number 7. Know the definition of power, the ability to define your own reality and have others submit to your definition as if it were their own.
Okay, Holla, you're gonna have to stop because once again, like once again, and you like described it perfectly. And when it comes to power, this is something that I personally didn't come to realize until learning more from the BAIO. And see, the thing that's so special to me about the BAIO is that, and that's why I gravitated toward it because I feel like it found me, right? Because everything that I was thinking personally, like in my own soul, and sharing with my circles, and even the stuff that I was sharing, like, no, man, calm down, emotion, calm down, no baby steps. Everything that I was sharing literally came together in the BAIO. And what I didn't understand is that what I was really asking for is that we have power. We stop asking for it and actually going to get it for our damn selves. And that definition is perfect. The ability to define your own reality and have others submit to your definition as if it were their own. I actually want power. And I feel like those of us Negroes who are in power here in this country, do not want power. They just want a semblance of power and want it to seem like they are powerful. So that's all I gotta say. Really, just like a thank you for giving me a definition for what it is that I'm seeking. And it's power. And we don't talk about it because I think that we're scared of it. I really do. I really do think that we're scared of it and that we don't think that we could ever obtain it. So we'll just keep on marching, praying, and forgiving instead of saying, fuck that, man. I want to fight. I want to really do this. That's all I got.
Hmm. I didn't. I don't think I want to add too much to it, brother. But can you read that one more time?
Number 7,
Yes, please.
know the definition of power, the ability to define your own reality and have others submit to your definition as if it were their own. Instead of your,
Okay.
I meant our.
Right. Right. Okay. So and real quickly for me, if you're listening to this and you're not a part of the BAO or any kind of nationalist organization, you may see that as sort of like some pseudo militant stuff. But in reality, it's very beautiful the way we look at it, which is really this. Once we control our own context, that gives you the power. Until you control your own context, you have no power. And really, you are just pissing in the wind when you're asking somebody else to give you the things that you deserve by birthright. What we're saying is that when we work to build and collect enough people to build our own context, that's the only time we're going to have power. Because then we define our own reality, which means we have defined where we live, the rules at which we live, the people and how they're going to react to each other. All the other commandments is defining your own reality. If you think about it, up until now, from 6 to 1, it's defining your own reality. And then submit is not that we'll run around and hold guns on people or swords. But once you come into our reality, they got to submit to our rules. It's really just that simple. It's the same thing as you enter any country. When you go to Canada, you got to submit to Canada's rules. When you go to South Africa, you got to submit to their rules. Every country that you go to, it's assumed you got to submit to their rules. If you're in the military and you go to an Islamic country, what does that mean? As a woman, you got to wear, you got to wear burqa, right? So that's power, because most of these women that go over there would not wear no freaking head covering like that ever. But when you go over there, they've defined their reality, and their reality says, you come over here, you got to wear a head covering. It's the same thing as coming into our reality. You come over here, you got to respect black people. Got to love them, got to treat them right. You have to understand that we are all people and we all have our nuances, things like that. That's the power that we're talking about. So don't get this twisted like this is some pseudo militant shit, because in reality, what it is it's what you all should have been saying all this time, but you haven't been saying.
Indeed. And let me add on to this because I usually explain, like, I think that this is really one of the most powerful commandments here, because it's something that if we applied this on a social, economic, and political level, we'd be less confused about what we need to do as a people. And I use this as an example to put it in layman's terms so that people understand what we mean when we say power is the ability to define your own reality and have others submit to your definition as if it were their own. And I use the example of LL Cool J. And I asked, why do ladies love Cool J? And the answer is because he told you to.
Yep.
Every time you say
Yep.
his name, you're saying ladies love Cool J, whether you agree with it or not.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because he defined his reality and you're submitting to his definition as if it were your own. That's power. Now, there's been certain people. I remember I was on Dynas's live stream one time, and one of these Republican black conservatives actually endorsed eating butter biscuits as an ideology.
What? No
Yeah,
way.
you're like, well, if you're starving and you got that butter biscuit, you got to eat the butter biscuit. Now, if we applied commandment number 7, then we wouldn't eat butter biscuits because we know that that's not power. And we
Yo.
wouldn't take butter biscuits from these white politicians acting as if that's some uh, um, example or expression of power. There's nothing powerful about table scraps.
No way. Nobody said that.
Yeah. You said, well, if you eat the butter biscuit and you can survive, then you just eat the butter biscuit. I'm like, okay, nigga. That's if that you want to follow that mentality, follow it.
Hmm.
For us, it's number 7. We know the definition of power. We know what real power is. And unless you're willing to deal and interact with all of these people on that level, you are wasting your time. And all you're doing really is empowering them. So I think that puts the button on number 7. Moving on, as Bill Burr would say, plowing ahead. Number 8, know the nationhood mantra. And the nationhood mantra is A, research our own experience. B, absorb what is useful. C, reject what is useless. D, add what is specifically our own. In other words, understand what a Black African epistemology is.
I don't know, big bro. I mean, 7 and 8 is kind of fighting each other with me because number 8 is strong, man. It's
Mm-hmm.
strong because it got so much in it. The like researching our own experience. That's where we can look back into Kemet, back into the what is it? Shit, I got all these names going in my head. I can't even think of none of them. But the
I know what
homie
you're
women,
talking about.
the homie women warriors, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff. How like, yeah, we're the creators of mathematics. We found the first constellations. All of this is beautiful. What the fuck that got to do with today though? What we finding now, right? And then and that's where to reject what is useless. Like, why are we talking about some shit? You can't walk around calling everybody kings and queens. We have to stop this. Everybody wasn't kings and queens. Like, there was some carpenters too. There were some there were right? Like, and
Mm-hmm.
then making what's our own. So with all that in mind, like, it's great. It's great to like know that you come from something greater. That's very important. But as you getting your ass kicked, you can't say, well, but Muhammad Ali was my uncle. Nigga, you can't fight like shit now. You know what I'm saying? You getting your ass whooped and you bragging about Muhammad Ali being your great uncle. That don't mean anything, bro. Like, straight up, it's like, what are we gonna do to make ourselves great today? I actually love number 8. I read it a few times, but just you reading it like that, I was like, man, that's actually strong, strong, strong. So I just want to say that I feel it. I feel that like a mug, and I know for me that was kind of like my whole transition. You know, once I first found out what quote unquote consciousness is, I did all the research and read everything from Joseph Ben Yakinen, found the God, Dr. Amos Wilson, and I was like, okay, I understand now. Then I started looking like, oh, all right, why are we still doing this same stuff that we was doing from the 60s and putting it into today thinking that it's gonna work? So then it was like, okay, BAIO, bam, just like that. Go ahead and cook it, bro.
Mm. Man, bro. Yes, sir. I totally. Anyway, like, you really on fire tonight. Like, I love hearing you speak, and you give from your heart. The nationhood mantra, man. This is, to me, this is powerful also because I think that what's most important to me is reject what is useless. And to me, what is useless is the stuff we're gonna fight over. That's what's useless.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're researching the past and you find the reason why those niggas over there that you didn't like was wrong all this time, that's useless. That's useless. When you're researching and you find, we did the first this and we did the first that, that is useful someplace else. It's not useful here. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, there's a lot of different things in our past that you would look at as useless. It's not useful now, but it will be useful when we change our context. Understand, like my teacher used to say this to me all the time when I was younger, my teacher that passed, my first minister, he said, you guys listen to certain ministers and preachers or whatever, because you just want something meaningful. He said, I listened to something I could use to build. And that really affected me because
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn. I was like, you're right. Like, because I'm not going to mention the name, but I was a part of an organization and the head of it was very charismatic. He's like in his 80s now. And, we all would listen to him and we would swoon. And after a while, I realized, I said, you know what? I said, my teacher, because my teacher was always blaspheming, always. And he was like, yo, you guys are listening just to be in the choir. I don't listen to the because of that. I listen for something I could use because I'm a builder. That's the same way we have to look at nationhood. Listen, by all means, you should study Kemet. You should study all of our past African civilizations that actually did something and were great. But you should study for something to use. And if you're not studying something to use, that's useless, and that's not part of the nationhood mantra. There's a difference between us being researchers in some damn library and us being nation builders. And what I think happened during the conscious community and the end of it is, if you guys kind of might agree, that got muddled. It got muddled. You got confused with the library egghead researchers and the people that was actually doing. And the people in the libraries were being exalted as if they was actually doing something. You know what I'm saying? And so,
Mm.
now mind you, that does not mean that we don't need researchers, but what it does mean is it's kind of a biblical thing where they say, you know what I'm saying, put down the sword and pick up the shovel. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you got to pick up the shovel and start digging in order to build your foundation. So for me, that's why this nationhood mantra is near and dear to me, because I'm not against any information that we can use. The whole health movement, where we begin to understand alkaline water and all that other stuff, a lot of that stuff is useful. I think that honestly, if we really want to be real, it is the conscious movement that just pretty much changed the world's eating habits. I really feel that way because only a
Yeah.
few people were living healthy. And then that conscious wave came over. Everybody started talking. And wasn't nobody talking no alkaline shit in the 80s and the 90s. We didn't know nothing about that. When you talked about alkaline, it was a Duracell battery. You know what I'm saying? So then when the conscious community came about and started talking about these kind of things and talking about food being electric and all that other stuff, that started electrifying people and really galvanizing people. Okay, maybe now we should think about eating better. Now, to be fair, of course, you had How to Eat to Live and various other programs. I think that the conscious community took eating healthy and living healthy global, really did. And now you see people of all races and colors doing that. That's the part that was useful. But then, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's other parts of it that people use to shame other people. Well, if you're not eating raw vegetables, you ain't shit. That's not usable. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So therefore, we have to really be very careful, even with the information that we study, what is useful, what's not useful, as far as like what can be used to uplift and what can be used to put down. I think.
Right. And I just want to add that the go to the dictionary and learn what epistemology means. Um, I suggest everybody do that, whether you're a BAIO member or you're a person just listening to the live stream, because what we have to understand is that, all right, let's say I'll use as an example technology. How does the European use technology, and how do we use technology?
Mm,
The technology is sort of like people always say, oh, well, you have this gun, right? Now, the gun could be used to go into a school and kill children, or the gun can be used to protect your house.
mm,
What's the important thing? Is it the gun that's the issue or the person that's using it? What are they using it for? Technology is not evil. You would think
mm-hmm.
it is because the European uses it in an evil way. We don't
Right.
use it in an evil way.
Hmm.
So what we have to learn, that's what they say, add what is specifically our own. Just because you have technology, because I know there's a lot of people in the so-called conscious community that are anti-technology. They act like technology
Oh
itself is a
yeah.
bad thing.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Like we're living in a modern world. Sorry. And unless you can compete on the world stage with your technology, you're going to get run over.
Yep.
You're going to be at the
Yep.
bottom of the worldwide society. I
Mm,
think and I believe that we will be number one. I'm on some Wakanda shit.
indeed. Indeed.
We with
Indeed.
technology in our hands and our control of our own environment, I believe we will be the number one nation on the planet Earth.
Indeed. And you know what? you, you know how you know it's 100% is because the way we give our message out, we attract the right people.
Right.
And we both knew that years ago. Is like we knew that we was on the right track when these kind of people started showing up. Technology people, people who were nerds, people who were into science when they was younger. That's who we attract from all walks of life. So we definitely will. In contrast to us, you know, basically getting behind a message that's divisive or just basically focus on, man, listen, I don't know. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. I think we got number 9. I mean number 8. I'm sorry. Number 9 commandment is, and you guys are probably gonna have a ball with this one. Number 9 commandment is know how to hit it and quit it. Don't fall in love.
Okay, I'm gonna be appropriate, but
You go ahead, bro.
along with the don't fall in
As a matter of fact,
love.
Olive, why don't you take that one?
Ha! Big bro has spoken, Holland.
All right. Um, Basically, what this is saying is don't fall in love with coalitions, alliances, or allies. Use them to achieve your goals and objectives first, and they should never be relied on at all until you have an organized body, institution, or government in place first. And the reason why we this is another powerful commandment is that there's a lot of us out here thinking that we playing 3D chess with the white man.
Hmm.
We think we Dr. Spock or something, and we moving the chess pieces around the board and engaging in this strategy, military. Listen, it's too many solo soldiers out here,
Right.
and they're not a part of an organized army. And that's what our biggest problem is. It's like we keep dispersing our energy, and when you disperse your energy, you can't combine that energy and get anything done.
Right.
So instead of being a solo soldier for an army where you're not even getting supplies from your army ain't even got no uniforms and equipment for you, but you out here saying that you a soldier, then you a solo soldier, you know? So when it comes to coalitions, and basically that's what this commandment is about. There are people out that will be sympathetic to our cause, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'll give you an example of what happened after the George Floyd murder. We had the world sympathetic to what we were going through with these police because of how brutal that death was. The problem is we weren't organized. So we didn't know how to utilize that energy and leverage it. Because that's what it's for. Like you have allies and you have, the emotions and stuff like that and people that's sympathetic. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. If a white person is sympathetic to you being killed by police, how do they become an enemy of yours? Like, why would you go use that? Use it. It doesn't mean you fall in love with them. You don't take them home and look into their eyes and you're just, forever friends. It doesn't work that way. You use that energy for leverage to accomplish your goals. And if you don't know what your goals are, then that's the problem. And I use that as an example, the George Floyd thing, because when you had the world on your side, instead of you getting something out of it, what did you do? You dissipated the energy by engaging in shit that had nothing to do with what the original point was about. So instead of it being about police brutality, what did it turn into? It turned into statues. It turned into Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben. It turned into old Golden Girl episodes. And then you wonder why you lost everybody? When they polled if people supported Black Lives Matter, I think at the time of the George Floyd incident, it was like 80%.
Hmm.
You know what the polling is now?
What's that?
Damn near zero.
Wow.
That's how much you lost the energy because you weren't organized. And you fell in love with these coalitions. And then once you fall in love with these coalitions and these alliances or these allies, guess what usually happens? They usually take over whatever the energy was, whatever you were trying to get people to be sympathetic to. They come and they jump in the front of the line, and then they become the issue. They become your spokespeople. That's why people got so mad at the Bill Burr monologue on SNL. I don't know if y'all saw that. Did you see it?
Yeah.
I
Oh
didn't.
hell
I
yeah.
seen a clip of it.
I
Yeah,
watched it
yeah.
like a
Go
couple
ahead.
times.
The one thing he said in there, he said white women took their Gucci booted feet and swung it over the fence of oppression and put themselves at the front of the line. And he was 100% correct. And it's going to happen and keep happening if you keep falling in love with these coalitions. So we can engage in coalitions, we can engage in alliances, and we can have allies. But this is the thing. In politics, on a social, economic, and political level, you have to use those allies to achieve your objectives.
Exactly.
They're not there so that you can feel good because you got an ally on your arm. So now you looking good. It's like you going to the fucking Oscars or something. That's not what this is about. You use that energy to accomplish your goals. And guess what? For Black Lives Matter movement, there were no goals to accomplish.
Yep.
So the energy got dispersed, and then there you go. That's the end of that.
Well,
Hopefully, with
that's debatable
Amendment
though.
number 9, we don't fall victim to that same result. So
You
that's
know
all I
what
got to
you?
say on that.
That's debatable though, because I mean, although we're not going to get into it on this show, I do think there were some goals that they had. It's just that they weren't well-meaning.
Yeah, you're right. I should say that because the goals that they had in terms of police brutality, those are tangible, concrete goals that you can see if you go to their Campaign Zero website. If you go to the Black Lives Matter website, all you're going to see is a bunch of stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with the original intention of Black Lives Matter was. So you
Yep.
are correct in that sense.
Yep. I was like, at first I was trying to tolerate it and support it, but then I seen all the stuff that they was doing, and I was like, I'm not going to speak against y'all, but I damn sure ain't going to support it.
Right. Right.
Yep.
What you
Anybody else
just?
want to speak on that? Number 9?
Yeah.
You dropped the mic,
What
son.
you
What
just?
else is there to
Right.
say?
What you described to me though, I want to point out the fact that what you're talking about is having
That's
the
it. There's nothing
desire
else
to
to
have
say.
power. You talking about the desire
Let
to
us
have
move on, as
power.
they say, and love's going to get you.
Can y'all
What you
hear
say,
me?
Emoji?
Oh, I was saying that what you
I don't think he
describing
said anything, bro.
is the people. He can't hear me.
I don't think
Minister
Dawood
can't.
can hear you.
Minister can't hear me.
Oh, he sounds low.
I don't know
Uh,
why.
I can hear him.
Let me.
You can? I don't hear him at all.
You
Really?
can't hear me,
Yeah.
man. But
See if the people out in the public can hear him. I can't hear him at all.
can y'all
Yo,
hear me?
guys, if you can hear your Moja, hit number 1. Because I can hear him.
I can't hear him at all. I'm,
That's very weird.
Hit number 1.
I know I'm in here. Yeah, I
do
see
they?
myself.
Hello? Can somebody hit number 1? Okay.
Right.
So they
Can they
said
hear
they
me?
say they can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You must
All
just
right.
be
Well,
me.
what I was gonna say is that what you just described was the people that want power. You know, like when you want power, then you have a strategy. All you was doing was talking about organizing, and that takes strategy and that takes guile. Instead of just running around saying, "Say her name." That's all you need to do is say her name, and we good. All you got to do is put Black Lives Matter on the back of a professional team jersey, and we good. You know, like taking these pacifiers and laying down. That's all I wanted to say. Go ahead.
Okay. Dawood, can you like exit out and then come back in? Maybe that's what the issue is.
Okay.
I'll let you
Mhm.
back in once you.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
Yeah, because I can hear him perfectly.
I can't even. What's up with my shit? I can't even hang up.
Are you
There
in the
we go.
StreamYard thing?
Yeah, I am, but I don't even see it now because I haven't looked at it in so long.
It should be Leave Studio at the bottom. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Oh, okay. He exited. So when he comes back, I'll let him back in, and then we can move on to number
Yes,
10.
sir. Yes, sir.
Hit it and quit it. Don't fall in love. That's number 9. I hope everybody understands that. Okay, dude.
I'm back.
Cool. Mo, just say something so he can see if he can hear you.
Something to see if he can hear you.
Oh, I hear you loud and clear. Okay,
There you go.
Yes, sir.
that
All
was
right.
crazy.
So number 10, the final commandment. Except that we have no friends, we are all we've got.
The famous John Henry Clark quote.
We are all we've got, and only we could represent our own interests with passion and a sense of urgency. Just because we are not your enemy doesn't mean we are your friend. There are no such things as friends on a socio-economic and political turf. Now, I understand that completely, and I think that it goes into the saying how I say like black people have been participating in hamster wheel activism. We always fall for hamster wheel passivism. Like everybody seems to have out strategized us when it comes to this. All they got to do is say like, "Oh yeah, people of color," and we think that that means us too, you know. And that's why it seems like we like this supposed to be the healers of the universe. Anytime black people do something, we got to say, "Oh yeah, this also for brown people and Latinx people, other oppressed people." And I'm like, nah, fuck them. Like this is we got to take care of us first. Like how can I keep on taking care of everybody else's family when I'm homeless? That doesn't make sense to me. And I feel like that's what we participate in so much, thinking that people really care for us, and we won't even take the evidence of look. Show me where these people have really put out a hand to care for us. They just wait until we get the recognition, and then all of a sudden it's women's trying to come get it. It's the LGBT, HIJK, element of P community trying to come and get their hand in. Seriously though, and mind you, like I got a heart for all people. I'm a human being too. However, I just love my people so much more. I'm willing to be like, no, fuck everybody else first. Let's take care of our family first, and then we can help the rest of the human race. That's all I got for that one.
I'm not going to add too much more. It's pretty much self-explanatory. Quite frankly, like you said, um, you know what I'm saying, or like it does say, it's about strategic alliances. And the strategic alliances does not mean that you accept the people that don't have your best interest wholeheartedly. Let's just say, for instance, that we were approached by a Black Lives Matter to work with them. We would never have said, now they're down with the BAIO. We'd have never said that. It would have been like they would have had to really have something substantial that they were trying to do, that we were trying to do at the same time, to work with them. I don't think in seven hells it would happen, but I'm just saying, let's just say, for instance, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the most glaring example of an organization that I think that we have really no chance of working with. But nevertheless, if in fact they had some kind of contacts on the contact, let's just say that they were trying to establish satellite communities like us. Because I think that that's something that we don't talk about enough nowadays, and we might want to get back to talking about the fact that we say we want a nation, but we also want satellite communities. say that they wanted to partner with us to do that for themselves and for us, then then there would be a strategic alliance. But we damn sure wouldn't be like we endorse them and they are a part of us. They're always going to be family. No way, no way. You know what I'm saying? We understand that we don't have any friends, and we govern ourselves accordingly. The only friends that we have is those that believe in land, infrastructure, nationhood. That's it.
Right. And unless the Black Lives Matter movement was pushing land, infrastructure, and nationhood, and us having an independent nation state, I don't see where our interests would be aligned.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly
Right.
what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, let's just say in a wild 20 moons, they had some kind of LIN package they was putting together. It's like, okay, we can
Right.
work with y'all.
Yeah,
We
we
know
can rock
it's
with you.
exactly. But we both know that's not possible at all.
Right. But that's what it is. It's about, there's no such thing as friends on a socioeconomic and political level. There's only mutually beneficial relationships. And those relationships can change based on a collective socioeconomic and political interest. So if it works in your interest, fine, we can have a relationship. If it doesn't work in our interest, then we don't have a relationship.
Right.
It gives you a certain autonomy and it gives you an independence and it gives you the ability to align with whoever you want to align with based on the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Like, take for instance, I'm gonna use this as an extreme example because this is another thing that will never happen. Let's say that Donald Trump wanted to push for a single payer healthcare system in America. Let's say that he came like he got a vision from God, woke up in the morning and said, you know what? I want everybody in America to have health care. So I'm going to push forward and I'm going to sign a single payer healthcare system. You know what we could do? We can tell the Democrats, kiss our black asses, we're voting for Donald Trump.
Right.
And then let's say the following year, um, the Democrats wanted to up the ante on what Trump did and do another policy that benefits our people. We can leave Donald Trump and the Republicans and go to the Democrats. See, but you can only do that if you have an organized people
Right.
where you work as a collective and you make people put forth policies that benefit you and your people. So that's just an example. It's, what I'm saying? It's like we have no friends. We only have to look out for our interests like everybody else. The Latinx community, when they come up with an institution, they didn't. I've never heard them say, "But what about black people?"
Right.
But when we come up with something, we got to include every fucking body.
Mm-hmm.
No, that ends if we follow the 10th commandment. So we went through it.
Yes, we did.
There it is. I got a guest.
Uh-oh.
I got a guest. If he's still there, Dominique. Is Dominique there? Or did he fall asleep? Looks like he fell asleep.
Yo,
Oh no, he's
yo.
there. He's there.
Yeah, I was looking at the game, but
What's up, Dom?
Oh, what
excellent
game is on?
Seattle and Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but excellent breakdown of the Ten Commandments. So far, excellent show. How's everybody doing?
Good, big brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good over here, man. I'm exhausted, but
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
still yeah. The 6 days of working and having one day off, it catches up, man.
Word.
Really? You only get one day off?
Yeah, but it's like peak season for us. But I was
Oh,
already working 6 days when I came out here, so I've been doing this for like 3 months now.
Right.
So now it's starting to catch up with me. I already put in a few days. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna need some days off.
Yeah,
I'm
please, because
trying-
that shit
yeah,
will drive you literally into a grave if you don't take some
yeah,
time off.
right, right. But yeah, I mean, what you all was speaking on with the Donald Trump situation and with BLM. See, the thing is with me, like we say, basically saying the same thing, but I think I get a little harsh with it, and it offends people because it's like with me, I'm a no nonsense guy, and I look at it like if you don't see what's going on, and I have to keep telling you what's going on, but you telling me the opposite because that's what you want to believe, you don't want to accept what's real. That kind of frustrates me, man. Seriously, it really do frustrate me. And then sometimes I just fall back and don't say nothing, and I let other people just say what I be saying, but y'all said it in a different way. Because at this point, like right now, I'm just tired of this whole political shit at this point in America. Because like this, with Donald Trump, with him being president, it has exposed just everybody, America. And this was the time where black people as a collective should have got our shit together. But we still holding on to Barack Obama, who was president, what, 4 years ago. He's not even president. And I'm trying to figure out why black people still bringing him up. Another thing too, if you don't like Donald Trump, why don't you all pick another presidential candidate to go against him instead of letting the Democrats tell you who's going to be better than him? Because I don't have an issue with black people still want to hold on to America. I do get that. But at the same time, it's like if you want to hold on to America, then why don't y'all start taking charge and stop letting groups like BLM and
Define
other
us.
people tell y'all what to do and what needs to be done? You know,
Excellent point.
because I just don't like. I remember BLM because I used to be on Twitter, but I left Twitter alone because it got hijacked by really just people who's in college who have a feminist mindset. And I said this what 2013 or 2012. But it takes longer for people to catch on to things like that.
Mm.
I remember seeing Darren Sills in them on the internet. I remember seeing all of that. It got hijacked. And I was the one that was telling people, leave it alone now because it's not grassroots anymore. I don't even know who this McKessie dude is. I don't know these lesbians. They was not on the scene. So when I was telling people to leave it alone, people didn't want to understand and was calling me out of my name, saying I was hateful towards women,
Oh
saying I
God.
hate people and all this stuff. And I'm telling you, like, it's on Twitter. Like, look what's going on. So I've been against Black Lives Matter. I'm not saying that black people don't matter, period. But at the same time, if you really think that your life matters, you need to prove that. That's how I feel about it. We sitting here, and this is my opinion, we are looking at the 1970s again because protesting and getting out on the streets is not going to do anything.
Right.
It's really not going to do anything. So before I left Chicago, the George Floyd situation happened. And I said, oh my God, here we go again with this shit. I'm angry about that shit too because I'm tired of it.
Yep.
That don't mean I need to go outside and hold up a sign. I have no weapons or nothing. And I want to go against the police. and I'm telling them that my life matters. That don't make no sense. Then
Word.
on top of that, I want to tear up shit. Why would I want to tear up the grocery store? And yeah, it's ran by the Arabs. Okay, so what? Why would I want to tear that up? The next day I gotta go shopping over there. So now I gotta travel an hour away out of my neighborhood just to get some food because I was in my emotions. And I'm trying to tell people they're playing a fucking game with us. And we need to stop participating in this because we just really hurting ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
People are getting themselves in a lot of trouble. I mean, I don't know what's really going on. I don't know if they read everybody's. I mean, technology is crazy, so they probably got everybody's description and information that was out on the streets. I mean, I don't know. I'm not about to get into that, but we just have to move better, man. And BLM has gotten real slick because when they website was there, I was telling people go to the website. They are Marxists. They do not believe in having a man and a woman as family. They want to destroy that shit. They hate men. I told people that. I said they're getting paid off the death of black men. How is it that you all cannot see this shit? How can you? This ain't got shit to do with because people be saying slick shit too, saying that you went to that little man shit. That's not the no. They're literally getting paid off every time a black man dies. They get paid for that shit. And then they sit up and have these marches like they really give a fuck, and they really don't. And then tell you, they say, hey, stop killing black men. But on the other hand, hey, we believe that gay people, two women or two men can raise children and we're tired of the traditional family. If you say if you tired of the traditional family, you're saying that you hate men. You need a man to even get with that woman to produce a child. That's how you get the family. So I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna let y'all speak, but I'm just tired of the BS, man, and it really frustrates me. So
Well,
I gotta say,
can I respond?
yeah,
Commandment number 4 says, "Connect, not convince."
right,
So why are we even talking about these people? These
yeah,
people are not. These people are not about land, infrastructure, and nationhood. So that's the solution to that problem. It's like that whole thing about the minutia of Black Lives Matter. How is that relevant to us?
right,
Because we're not engaged with them on that level. See, this is the thing. Are we going to keep talking about the problem, or are we going to engage in the solution? This is the most frustrating thing with me when it comes to like our people, just in general. Like everybody's not going to be involved in this nationhood process. They're just not. The very nature of what we laid out in this show, in this live stream, guarantees that you're only going to have a certain portion of us actively engaged in this whole nationhood process. So my point has always been, and me and Minister used to have this conversation with Kala, is that we would talk about what we need to be doing as Black nationalists and African centered progressives, and he would concentrate on what's going on in America.
Yep. The
Something
culture
that
critic.
something yeah, something like that culture critic bullshit. Like we can talk about this shit forever if that's what we want to do. If we want to talk about every fucked up thing that Black people do in America, that will, for one thing, it provides a lot of content for these people who do these shows, because that's all they're concerned about. Coming up with show topics so they can put out content and monetize the content. You don't hear anybody except the BAIO talking about what the actual fucking solution is. And until we start engaging in that, then what are we doing? We're wasting our time. We just, because like I said, that topic of male versus female, Black Lives Matter, whatever, just pick a topic. Light skin versus dark skin. This
colorism,
stuff, you can make shows about this shit forever. But the problem is nobody wants to talk about the solution. The solution ends all that shit.
You know what
You
works?
don't
You know what works
control.
for me?
But just hold on one second. I just want to finish this.
Yes,
If you
sir.
don't control the context of your reality, then to engage in this culture critique is a bunch of bullshit. You're just talking just to hear yourself talk. It doesn't mean anything. It's not settling anything. It's not solving anything. But what would solve something is for people to fucking sign up to the BAIO website. Sign up and be around people of like mind whose actually their philosophy is, hey, we need to get something started outside of this country. We need a base of operations that we can control policy on. That's the solution. If there's another solution, I would love for somebody to tell me what it is. But it seems to me that we have the solution to our problem. So let's start doing it. That's it. I don't care about Black Lives Matter. I don't care about
Man,
fucking Donald Trump. I don't care
man,
about Joe Biden.
period.
I don't care about these stupid ass issues that people keep talking about. When are we going to start talking about the BAIO and land infrastructure nationhood and have that be the main talking point and the most viral talking point in our community? Because until that happens, what we're going to have is the same shit that we had when I was on YouTube 10 years ago. Motherfuckers creating show topics so they can monetize the content, and we going around and around in this circle jerk, what Umoja calls hamster wheel activism.
Brother
If we
Dom,
have a solution, let's do the solution. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
period.
yeah,
Period. What works for me, Dom, because I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm sure
I gotta
that
bounce, y'all.
yes,
All right,
sir.
man.
See, man,
Peace.
nothing but love,
Thank
minister.
you.
And
As always, bro.
I know minister and everybody with the BIO at some point feels you, especially if you wanted to allow with with a voice type dudes and social media presence. It's
yeah.
frustrating when you're trying to convince. What works for me, bro, is literally 90 about 80% of what I post is BIO stuff now. That's it. Because I'm trying to connect. I'm not even trying to convince. It's not an argument. I just post like a video. I might like put up and make a little like quotation meme of something that I thought of or something that somebody else said about nationhood. And those are my posts. It's like the solution. While we now I might throw a little uppercut or a little gut shot in the like context of it, in the like texting part of the picture or something, but I'm not arguing with people of about why they still doing stupid shit. I'm just gonna post what the solution is, what I think is the solution. And if people want to come on board, then they will. And most people are going to reject it because it's just like anything that got to do with popular culture. If you're not talking about what's popular, no one wants to hear it. Especially if you're talking about something different and challenging, they don't want to hear it. And it's easier to just keep on behaving with that sense of cognitive dissonance of, yeah, we want our own stuff, but let's go vote for this old white dude. Yeah,
Yo, you
yeah,
Moja.
we yes, sir.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just wanted to build off what you said. We just
Please go ahead.
created we just created two BAIO commercials. I posted the link to the commercial in the chat room. How many people are going to pass that commercial around? How many people are going to post that on their own personal profile, pass it to their friends and people? How many
It's
people are actually going to do that? Are we going to
so important.
continue to talk about the house burning down? Like I said, the example I use, and it's the
So
perfect
important.
example. Um, if a house is on fire and I tell you that water is the solution, and you go, yeah, I know water solution, but yo, brother, my couch is burning. How long are we going to continue talking about the fucking problem when we know what the solution is? Put some water to turn out the fire. Nah, I hear what you're saying, but damn, look at my TV, man. The shit is burning. It's like, how long are we going to continue to do this? I want to know how many people are going to pass that commercial around so that we can start getting a groundswell of support for land infrastructure nationhood.
It's actually incredible how it seems like people really scared to share just the idea. Like that commercial is beautiful. It's not saying let's kill Whitey. It's not saying go get your guns. It's not saying fuck them. It's no. It's just saying if you believe that black people was fucked up and need our own shit, maybe you should think about joining the BAIO. And it's
No,
like people
you
scared
know
of
what
that.
it is?
Bingo.
Because this is what it is. Because everybody listens and look at mainstream media.
Oh, your voice
So
is not coming through.
you hear me?
I hear you, but it sounds like you're in a cup.
Oh wow. Hold on. You hear me now?
It sounds the same, but go ahead. Go ahead. I think other people might be able to hear you.
Okay, yeah. So what's going on like in Africa, right? They got that whole little internal beef. And when people see that stuff on mainstream media, it turns them off for from what we speaking on and trying to do. So that's how I'm looking at it because I mean we have our internal beefs with each other in the United States, black people. But it would be best if we were to go somewhere where we, came from, where all the natural resources is at. Just have a nation state. I mean, you can bounce back and forth from America to wherever you want to be at in Africa. But it's just a lot of black people just get turned off from Africa due to the internal beefs that they have over there.
Well, that's only like you have political unrest in certain countries in Africa, but that doesn't represent the African continent. Because we just, like I said, I keep telling people, like there was a guy who said, "Oh, you better get a gun when you go to Africa." I said, I was walking through the streets of Rwanda at 4 o'clock in the morning with no security.
Right. And see, when I saw you all posting pictures of Rwanda, I was like, I'm about to go next time they go. I had got my passport a little late, but I was supposed to been got it because I was just trying to travel the world anyway because I want to escape America for a period of time and experience different cultures, man. Because I'm getting sick of shit out here. I'm just getting sick of it, and I want to go somewhere where it's just a little bit peaceful. The air is more cleaner, and the food is a little bit more better. And I know that people who say they travel to other countries, they get just respected more. People treat them better. They're more
Hmm.
welcoming. That's what I want to feel, man. I hate that I gotta go outside, even when I come across other black people, and it's like, damn, you just can't say what's up. Hey, how you doing? And keep it going. You just gotta look at me
Oh
a little bit
man,
other way and go past. Like it's never that serious.
this is what I was trying to explain. Like I've had this conversation with Ronan Black too, and y'all definitely like I know we in this pandemic, so shit is kind of funky right now. But when they open shit up and we get to some realm of so-called normalcy, definitely go to Rwanda because I'm homesick for Rwanda and I'm not even from there. When I went over to Rwanda, it was just a validation of everything that I've been talking about and everything that I believe in. And I keep reminding people, no, we're not talking about a nation state in Rwanda. That's not the whole point for us even going there. They serve as an example of what we want our nation to be. Because like I said, I was over there and I felt at home. There was nobody was mean mugging me. We had zero mean mugs in Rwanda.
Yeah, you can tell by the video.
Yeah, it was just a beautiful place to be, and so beautiful that the photography. I didn't even bother taking pictures with my camera because I couldn't capture how beautiful it was.
You want to just soak it in. See, that's the thing. Like, I just want to go somewhere and I can just soak everything in and just keep it in my memory bank. And then, I just go back to it again and start taking pictures. Because it's nothing wrong with taking pictures, but sometimes I just want to enjoy the environment without always putting out my damn phone.
And my suggestion to you, Dom, on a personal level, is just surround yourself with BAIO.
And you know what? I said that to myself because I do I I genuinely care about black people. Seriously, that's why I be saying the stuff that I'm saying because I'm not trying to convince people. I just want to show you, like, look, man, you went to some madness. Clear your thoughts and look at it for what it is. But at this point, I'm done. I'm just done with it. And I'm gonna take a step back from Facebook. Maybe I just need to clean out the friends list because that's why I be going in sometime on my posts because it's like
Because you
what?
arguing with Negroes. Like, listen,
Yeah,
I'm
like
telling you from experience, man. I'm telling you from experience. If you do not get around people of like mind, people that's on the same wavelength as you, you're gonna lose your fucking mind going back and forth with ignorant niggas. I don't do my circle is so goddamn small, it's ridiculous.
yeah,
I don't really interact with a lot of people. I have a small circle of people that I interact with, and guess what? Those people all believe in land infrastructure nation. I never have in my inner circle forth with a nigga because he wants to do it right here. I don't have those kind of conversations.
right. And also I've been talking to my woman about it, like, and that's another reason why we got our passports because she was like, "Oh, I want to go to Africa too." So I
Yeah,
just keep
I would
on talking to
strongly
her
suggest
about it.
Rwanda, son.
Yeah,
Strongly suggest it.
because she was like, she want to go to Egypt. I'm like,
Ugh,
at
ugh.
this point, Egypt is played out, and
Yeah,
I don't want to be around no Arabs, my G. I'm
nah.
I don't want to be around that crap. I want to go where the people look like us, and they gonna accept us. I don't want to go somewhere they telling me because they Muslim, I need to do this. I'm not with all that.
Right. That's why I said, like, I would suggest to people if you're African American and you want to go to the continent for the first time, my suggestion is Rwanda. Now, some people say Ghana. I can't really speak for that, but I'll say, like, in terms of the way that the government is ran, the way that Kagame runs that country, it just seems like it's the perfect segue for you to get away from here. And I'm not saying move there, but visit. Just
Yeah.
visit. Be around a black, like be in a black nation and know what it's like to be surrounded by your people handling business.
Mm-hmm.
I could count on less than one hand the amount of white people that I saw when we were there, and it
See,
was
that's the only thing I want to do is just get away from this shit for a week or two, man. Cause it's like, God damn, I'm surrounded by you all. Then I got my people. They don't know what they want to do with themselves. They don't know if they want to love themselves, hate themselves, be up under you all. It's too much confusion over here. I just need to get away. And and one thing I want to say too is like, you in a relationship, and let's just say either it's the man or the woman, and they thinking on this level that we thinking on, and then they can, they loved one see what they on, and then they just accept it. That's a beautiful feeling because I don't see how it can work for people that's in a relationship and it's one person thinking this way and the other person is thinking the other way.
it's
I
not
just don't, it
it's
just
not
can't
gonna
work
work.
like that. Yeah, because
I know for me,
yeah,
I can only speak for myself. I don't know how you can be in a relationship with somebody who's not about what you're about.
right,
I don't know how you can even do that. Like to me, that answers the question of your relation. If you're in a relationship and the person that you with is not about anything that you about, not supportive of it, don't even understand. There are people that in relationships and they don't even tell their mate what they feel about this shit. I'm like,
yeah.
then I can't be with you. It's
Hey,
that
let me tell
simple.
you this. Let me tell you this. Like this was years ago, and I was in a relationship with a woman, so I would always speak on these things, and she was trying to counteract what I'm saying about the freaking Holocaust with the Jews. And then she would just tell me like not all white people are this, and I'm like I'm not saying all white people are that way. So when I kept on getting that pushback, I was like, you know what? I don't even care about this. Let's just split up. I don't. If you want to take the sex away, I don't care, but it's not going to work. So just go, because I'm standing on what I know. It's not even about what I believe. I'm standing on what I know, and I'm not going to sit up here and push that to the side because you may get offended and not want to, have sex with me or give me affection and all that stuff. You can just go.
Shit, that's the least of it. Listen, one of the things that, and it ain't that I'm some fucking Denzel Washington, Idris Elba nigga, but sex has never really been a fucking problem for me.
Yeah, there's,
So don't think that you can hold that over my head. That don't mean shit.
yeah. So
Yep.
if it ain't,
Oh,
if y'all don't share the same ideology, then just break it off, man, because y'all wasting time with each other. You know,
mhm.
that's how I look at it.
Yep. But yo, fellas, I'm gonna bring this to an end because I gotta work tonight. But I do want to say this. Peace to Fatty Black and peace to Chima. And Chima asked, does the BAIO have any future plans of visiting Rwanda again or other African countries? Yeah, but the problem is the COVID-19 pandemic. So I'm not feeling too confident about being in a tube for 15 hours with these freaking Republicans. you know, who think dying without wearing a mask is a sign of freedom. I'm just, these people are fucking crazy. So when we get some sense of normalcy, maybe, hopefully, when Rwanda Air opens up at JFK, that'll be an indication of when I'll be back in Rwanda. Because I know Rwanda Air was supposed to open up in JFK, and it's been going back and forth with that, and probably with COVID, is back things up even more. But
Mm-hmm.
when there's able to be a direct flight from JFK to Rwanda, me and my cousin gonna be on that flight. Trust.
Yeah, count me in.
Because I guarantee you they'll have a different way of doing things. Like they don't play there. But also I just want to let people know, um, I posted the commercial to the BAIO because if people don't ha- feel confident in their ability to express what the BAIO is about, we made it as easy as possible for you. We made a goddamn commercial. There's the link in the chat room. Let's see that link on our members' channels, on their profile pages. Let's see them passing this information around. Because, in the age of ADD, people have got this short attention span. So a 60-second commercial is something that's easily digestible with all the talking points right there. You don't have to go through a whole lot of explanation. And if they want to know more, they can go to the site and learn more. But just pass the information along so that other people can learn about it. It's so simple. Sharing a link, posting it on your page, posting it on your profile. Very simple thing to do. And you may think that it's not accomplishing something, but guess what? If you have hundreds of thousands of people on your Facebook page and you post it on your profile, somebody's going to see that shit. On any social media that you have, somebody's going to see it. And that's what the problem is. We got to start, if we really believe in land infrastructure nationhood, then why are we so afraid to tell people that we believe in it? Because to address the point that Don was making, if people are feeling a certain way because they're seeing what's going on in Nigeria, then if that's all they're hearing about and that's all they're seeing, of course they're going to feel that way. How about letting them see another point of view, giving them something else to look about that shows you about Africa? Because if you let the ignorant people control the narrative, then how can you complain that people ain't on your side? You gotta fight for your side. You gotta fight for your ideology. And if you don't do that, then the dominant ideology of the bootlicking Negro is going to take over. And I'm not fighting with bootlicking Negroes all of my life. Not doing it. I keep my circle small. I keep my circle around people who believe in the same things that I believe in. In a way, you got to have blinders like the horses. They put the blinders on the horses so the horses can only concentrate on what the fuck is in front of them. And they don't get distracted by all the side issues. And that's how we have to be. We have to surround ourselves with people of like mind. We have to push the ideology of land, infrastructure, nationhood into every man, woman, and child at least has heard about it. And that's all I'll say. Thank you, Dom.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Thank you, Umoja.
You damn right, big bro.
And peace to everybody in the chat room. And I will holler at you good people later.
Peace,
All
G.
right.
Peace.
Peace.